Today, I'm reacting to Apple's sustainability video. Will I be happy with it? Will I not? Let's find out. Before we dive deeper into this sustainability video, let me begin by acknowledging the significance of a tech giant like Apple stepping up to address environmental concerns. Their influence in the tech sector is undeniable, and their actions can actually set stage for other companies to follow suit, ultimately leading to a more sustainable future. However, as we go on this journey through their sustainability initiatives, it's important to remember that this video is crafted by Apple itself, designed to showcase its efforts and make consumers feel that choosing Apple means choosing sustainability. But is that the whole story? Let's begin.
Welcome to Apple. Welcome to Apple. Hi, I'm Tim.
She should be here any minute.
How is the weather coming in? Hi, I'm Tim.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the office's already carbon neutral thing, right?
Yeah, all yours.
Everyone seems to be getting ready for some kind of a major meeting. There's definitely a lot of nervousness going around, and you can see people even practicing their lines. So let's see who's coming. Now that's what we all do before a guest comes home. Am I right?
I hope we didn't keep you waiting.
Mother Nature.
Apple kicks off with a dramatic conversation with Mother Nature herself, played by Octavia Spencer. A captivating start, no doubt. But let's remember, it's just the beginning.
How is the weather getting in?
So here is Tim Cook, Apple's CEO, making an appearance. It's a good sign that they are not shying away from scrutiny. But actions speak louder than words.
In 2020, you promised to bring Apple's entire carbon footprint to zero by 2030. Said we have a profound opportunity to build a more sustainable future for the planet we share.
I think our 10 o'clock said the same thing.
They all do. All right. This is my third corporate responsibility gig today, so who wants to disappoint me first?
Well, you have got to hand it to Apple. They're not afraid to make fun of themselves when it comes to tackling the greenwashing monster that's been haunting the corporate world.
Well, we've got some updates we're excited to share with you.
Materials, status.
Lisa Jackson, Apple's Environment and Social VP, brings a sense of seriousness to the table, but let's not forget that there's more to sustainability than just words.
We are in the process of eliminating all plastic from our packaging by the end.
Let me guess. 50 years from now when someone else is left holding the bag?
By the end of next year, actually.
So Apple's pledge to eliminate plastic from their packaging by next year is a step in the right direction. But it raises a question. Do we really need a new iPhone every single year with minimal upgrades? Think about it.
And we're also currently using 100% recycled aluminum in the enclosures of all our MacBooks, Apple TVs, Apple Watch.
What about iPod Shuffle?
Well.
So the mention of Apple iPod Shuffle here is sort of makes us think about the life cycle and the relevance of tech products over a period of time. Because do you remember the Shuffle at all? Something to think about.
We're also phasing out leather in our iPhone cases.
What about Brando over there? They phasing you out too?
Oh.
So Apple's plan to replace leather with something called as fine woven, which is composed of 68% post-consumer recycled content, is not just a move. It can actually be a potential industry trendsetter, pushing all brands to think deeply about their leather usage.
We're operating on 100% clean electricity.
What runs on 100% clean electricity?
Every Apple office, store, and data center runs on clean electricity, thanks to you and your powerful wind and sun.
Apple claims of using 100% clean energy. Apple takes pride in running its offices, retail spaces, and data centers on 100% clean energy. However, a glaring omission here is the absence of any mention of their manufacturing units or factories. Without clean energy in manufacturing, the overall environmental impact of their product remains kind of uncertain.
And Apple offices are already carbon neutral.
This building is carbon neutral?
Oh yeah, we do it with a mix of clean energy and eliminating greenhouse emissions. It's kind of like if you were to...
You're seriously explaining carbon neutrality to Mother Nature?
So what is carbon neutrality? They mention it a lot in this video. They may have used clean energy in their office and done carbon offsetting for the rest of the carbon footprint, meaning that for the carbon emissions they produce in their office, they pay an organization that does environmental projects to invest in taking out as much carbon emissions from the environment as they produce.
Also, over 300 suppliers have committed to using 100% clean, renewable electricity.
Apple claims that 300 suppliers have committed to using clean energy. But how many are actually following through?
I'm proud to report that we're shipping more products by ocean rather than air, which reduces transportation emissions by 95%.
95%? Not too bad.
Now let's take a closer look at one of Apple's bold claims. They emphasize the word more when discussing shipping. They state that they are shipping more products by sea, not all products. They highlight that sea transportation emits 95% less carbon compared to air transportation, which is a fact. However, it's essential to clarify that does not mean Apple has reduced their transportation emissions by 95%. This very clever wordplay might give you that impression. On their website, Apple mentions that they are using non-air transportation for 50% of all new Apple Watch models from factories to their destinations. Now, let me provide you some context. The AirPods product line alone could be a staggering $175 billion enterprise. To put that in perspective, it's larger than the revenue of Twitter, Spotify, and many other well-known companies. Given the enormous scale at which Apple operates, it appears they might be overstating their efforts in this regard. The point here is that Apple has the capacity to do much more, and they should. Their influence in the tech industry makes it imperative for them to lead by example and set higher standards for sustainability.
We're investing in projects around the world that protect the Earth's soil, plants, and trees.
Everyone says they're planting trees.
We've planted forests.
Where?
Paraguay, Brazil.
What, are you trying to save the tropical savanna?
Yes. And we've also restored mangroves in Colombia,
What else?
grasslands in Kenya.
So it's fair to say that these are positive initiatives that Apple has genuinely invested in. It's essential to acknowledge the steps they've taken in the right direction. However, while these projects are commendable, they should be seen as a part of a more comprehensive sustainability effort rather than just isolated achievements. Apple still has room for improvement in other areas of their sustainability strategy too.
Why?
Our aim is to permanently remove carbon from the atmosphere.
Now, let's tackle Apple's claim of permanently removing carbon from the atmosphere. On the surface, it may sound impressive, but in reality, it's an empty statement. Why? Because it's simply not possible to remove all carbon from the atmosphere. Almost everything on Earth, including us, contains carbon. So while it may sound grand, this claim holds no real-world significance. We need to focus on actions that can truly make a difference in our sustainability efforts.
What about your water usage?
We've reduced it.
By how much?
63 billion gallons.
63 million?
Billion.
Apple's water usage is undeniably substantial, with a whopping 99% of it being attributed to their suppliers. These suppliers have since 2013 managed to save what may seem like an impressive 63 billion gallons of water through their reuse efforts. However, when we dive deeper, we find that this saving is based on a rather modest 42% water reuse rate by these suppliers. Let's dive a little bit deeper. And trust me, you're going to be shocked. In their environmental report, Apple acknowledges that in 2022, their direct operations consumed approximately 1.5 billion gallons of water. And that is the yearly water usage by a facility that falls into 1% of its water usage. So if we calculate that for the rest 99%, the water consumption could roughly be assumed to be over 150 billion gallons used by the suppliers in just 1 year. Now, does it seem impressive that they saved 63 billion gallons over 10 years? You decide.
As you can see, we've innovated and retooled almost every part of our process to reduce our impact on the planet. But there's still a lot more work to do.
And there's something else we wanted to share with you.
You're not trying to bribe Mother Nature with Apple swag.
It's Apple's very first carbon neutral product.
And that right there is the new Apple Watch, which they say is their very first carbon neutral product. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so far so good. I'm glad that they're transparent about where they got their certification from. It's a good sign that they've used a good percentage of recycled material in their bands. They're using 100% recycled aluminium in their cases, but what I'm most impressed about is the use of 100% recycled cobalt in their new watch batteries. That is definitely them pushing the boundaries of the industries, and I do appreciate that.
I want to see you do more of this.
You will.
When?
By 2030, all Apple devices will have a net zero climate impact.
All of them?
All of them.
They better.
They will.
Apple's climate pledge is centered around making all their devices carbon neutral. It's important to note that they specify devices and not the entire company. This aligns with the recent trend among major corporations where Microsoft aims to be carbon negative by 2030, Nestle targets a 50% emissions reduction by 2030, and Amazon pledges to achieve net zero by 2040. However, the key question is whether these companies are making sufficient annual progress to ensure they actually meet these ambitious targets on time.
Okay, good. See you next year. Don't disappoint your mother.
Okay, they've given a very dramatic ending as well, I guess to make it seem a little similar to the start. The sustainability journey demands more than just pledges. It requires consistent and measurable actions. I understand that my critique might have sounded somewhat harsh, but it's important to remember that Apple holds a significant position in driving technological advancements. Naturally, we have high expectations from a company of this level. However, it is essential to acknowledge the positive initiatives they've undertaken as well. For instance, their decision to completely eliminate plastic from their packaging by the end of next year is commendable. It's a move that can set an example for other tech companies to follow. Yet there is one significant aspect that often goes unacknowledged, not just by Apple but by a lot of big companies, is the environmental impact of producing new products every single year. Apple doesn't seem to address the need for slowing down manufacturing, which has a substantial ecological footprint. So if you are an Apple user, there is one thing that you can do to make a difference. Choosing second-hand or refurbished Apple products over new ones and trying to extend the time between each purchase can maximize the use of already extracted resources. My own iPhone is second-hand and 3 years old now, and I plan to continue using it for at least another year or two or until it conks out. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let's continue pushing for a greener, more sustainable world together. So I'll see you in the next video. So until then, stay happy, stay mindful.